Shit's going down. Shit is going down. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware. I mean, you kind of have to be living under a rock to not be. But Blizzard has been at the receiving end of a bit of a shit show recently for bending over for China to get that sweet Chinese money. Yeah, that sweet Chinese. Blizzard just wants that Chinese market bad. So a little bit of a backstory in case you guys missed out the last time I talked about it. But Blizzard actually banned for a year and stripped him of all his winnings a guy named Blitzchung, who is, I believe, a Taiwanese professional Hearthstone player who just won the Grandmasters. And he said in his post-tournament interview, pretty much free Hong Kong, revolution of our age, something to that extent. And, Blizzard banned him, stripped him of his money, and people here in the West weren't happy. We're like, hey, wait a minute, are we letting China dictate what we can and can't say outside of China now? The answer is yes, because Blizzard is trying to really get cozy with China, because that's, even I will admit, I understand why they're doing it. I understand why Blizzard wants to do this. I understand that Blizzard wants to get into China because they have a giant mobile microtransaction heavy market right now. Oh, he was actually from Hong Kong. Okay. Yeah, so Blizzard has a huge market, or Blizzard has a huge potential markets down there in China. And this, honestly, China may be the last huge untapped market for pay pigs for the AAA game industry that's more focused on milking us for all the money we're worth as opposed to giving us good content. And every time I think they may give us good content, they end up censoring it and just killing all the... I don't get hyped for games at all anymore. Because every time I get hyped for a game, it always gets censored or has de novo on it or... just all sorts of shit happen. I don't even care anymore. I don't care about this industry. The industry itself has killed my interest in it. That's where we are in current year. But this has been going on for days, and Blizzard has just been pretty tight-lipped about it. Except, funny enough, a statement they released on the official Hearthstone account in China pretty much said that they were extremely offended and they'll always fight for the pride of China. So that's you could take as Blizzard's official statement, since it did come from the official Hearthstone account in China. But things get better because finally, Friday evening, they put out a response. Why Friday evening? Well, that's because most of the potential outrage at this is going to be in the U.S., and most people in the U.S. Friday are probably out partying, having a good time. And so they thought. I mean, unfortunately for them, Quartering was streaming with Mark Curran, and a bunch of people are already aware they're being ratioed to all fuck. So they put out a statement that everyone knew it was going to be bad, because again, it came out Friday evening. So the hope was no one's going to be talking about it. No, everyone's going to miss it, whatever. Not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen. I'm going to be posting this everywhere. So let's get in. What do they say? Regarding last weekend's Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament. Hello, Blizzard community. I want to take a few minutes to talk to all of you about the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament this past weekend. On Monday, we made the decision to take action against a player named Blitzchung and 2 shoutcasters after the player shared his views on what's happening in Hong Kong on our official Blizzard broadcast channel. Yeah, they took action against him, but then American University kind of did the same thing, and they didn't even get a slap on the wrist. They probably got a warning behind the scenes. But yeah, their next match was scheduled, they were still set to play, and they actually forfeited in solidarity, so good on them. At Blizzard, our vision is to bring the world together through epic entertainment. That is a blatant lie. Your vision is to milk money from the pay pigs. And we have core values that apply here. Think globally, lead responsibly, and importantly, every voice matters, unless you support Hong Kong, encouraging everybody to share their point of view, unless they support Hong Kong. And this one here, think globally. Yeah, in the interview that Mark Kern did with the Quartering, he fucking laid the truth down hard. If this was a fucking cartoon, he'd be just flat out bitch slapping Blizzard with the truth. He said something along the lines of, if we make everything for a global audience, if we think globally, then we are gonna drop down to the lowest common denominator of censorship and human rights. And that's fucking true. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah, this global standards, right? And I'm going to say this now. I am laughing seeing all of this happen because I have been a fan of Japanese games for a while. And I have been watching the West force their censorship on Japan for well over a decade. And the excuse every single time was always, my global standards. Like most recently, how they got Soini. And Soini is going around censoring games in Japan that are only ever going to be released in Japan because my global standards. And now that China is censoring the West, now all of a sudden, censorship, it's a violation of our rights. Whoa, calm down there, buddy. What happened to my global standards? Huh? Did you think that you were going to be able to dictate what global standards are? Huh? Did you? Because if you did, then man, you are in for a rude awakening, and I am going to laugh my fucking ass off every step of the way as you find yourself on the receiving end of what you've been doing to others all this time. You're not going to get a single bit of sympathy or help from me. I am just going to laugh my fucking ass off as you are forced to lie in the bed you made for yourself. Get fucked. I hope all of you end up on the receiving end of what you've been doing to others. I hope China takes the whole industry down. Fuck, this could be a good thing. If this is what finally leads to the game industry crash, because you either have to suck China's dick or you can't get into that huge market, and that's the last massive growth market left in the world, basically, for video games anyway, at least until a few other countries industrialize. You either have to suck China's dick to get access to that market, which includes kind of stabbing your customers here in the back, or if you actually stand by what you believe in, you could probably survive. But no, these fucking companies that just have to keep growing infinitely, I rant about that quite often, they are not going to say no to that Chinese money. So they're going to suck up to China, and then the smallest misstep, like we see with the NBA later on, the smallest misstep, and they're just going to be kicked to the curb. I wouldn't be surprised if they got kicked to the curb over the audience's response to how they handled this situation. Yeah, if this is what causes the industry to crash, I should be thanking China for this. Thank you, China. Thank you for crashing this broken-ass industry. Maybe now we can finally restart it and make it proper again. Yeah, notice that the companies that actually stick with their fans, their audience, their paying customers, they're going to be doing fine. But these countries like China, who stabbed their loyal fan base in the back to suck that Chinese dick, they're going to have nobody watching their back when China withdraws their penis from Blizzard's mouth. There's not going to be anyone there. You think the people who they stabbed in the back are going to just forgive them for it? Like, oh yeah, sure, we totally trust that you're not going to do this again the second you smell more money elsewhere. No, they're done. If this thing with China doesn't work out for them, they're finished. And I'm going to be laughing my ass off. Yeah, so globally, think globally, everything for a global audience, global standards. You guys who have been pushing for this all this time, I hope you fucking love what the end game is. Because if you honestly believed that you were going to be the ones dictating what these global standards are, then you're fucking idiots and you deserve everything that's happening to you right now. And you better believe I'm going to be laughing the entire way. The actions that we took over the weekend are causing people to question if we are still committed to these values. We absolutely are, and I will explain. Yeah, translation, lies incoming. Our esports programs are an expression of our vision and our values, which is why they suck so hard. Esports exist to create opportunities for players from around the world, from different cultures, and from different backgrounds to come together to compete and share their passion for gaming, which is why, due to us going after a global audience, we have to drop down to the lowest common denominator of censorship and human rights, which is why China is dictating what you can do outside of China now. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Don't you just love the global audience? Don't you just love it? It is extremely important to us to protect these channels and the purpose they serve, to bring the world together through epic entertainment. Yeah, good job, Blizzard. You really brought the worlds together in solidarity, in unison against you. So in a way, you succeeded. Good job, Blizzard. Yeah, and so, what was it? There we go. And celebrate our players and build diverse and inclusive communities. Yeah, they all, ever notice how the ones who are the least inclusive, the least diverse, the least tolerant claim they are? Where the fuck is the inclusion for Blitzchung's beliefs? He's not allowed to say anything. Yeah, if you say anything we don't like, we're going to kick you out of our community. Oh, by the way, we're so diverse and inclusive here as long as you agree with everything we say. That's what diversity is, right? Agreeing with everything we say? Yeah. And this is how those values apply in this case. First, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for the winner of this event to share his views with the world. Yeah. And same with the American University guys. Nothing happened to them. We interview competitors who are at the top of their craft to share how they feel. We want to experience the moment with them. Hearing their excitement is a powerful way to bring us together. Over the weekend, Blitzchung used his segments to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong in violation of rules he acknowledged and understood, and this is why we took action. Yeah, this they could have just cut the broadcast like they did, talks to him a little bit, like, hey, if you do this again, you're out. But no, in a way, Blizzard's right, though. The way they wrote their rules, which Blitzchung apparently acknowledged and understood, but basically, you signed that 3,000-page agreement when you signed on with us, and we know full well you didn't read it, but you don't need to read it, because those agreements can always be summarized to we can do anything we want for any reason, and there's absolutely no recourse for you. That's pretty much what these companies put into those agreements for the most part. Every voice matters, except for Blitzchung. And we strongly support everyone in our community to share their viewpoints in the many places available to express themselves. However, the official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and be a place where all are welcome. Except for Blitzchung, he's not welcome. In support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the game. Oh, like you did with your Chinese official Twitter account, huh? You're saying how offended you were and how you're going to fight for the pride of China? Yeah, that's something. Yeah, focused on the game, right? Yeah. Second, what is the role of shoutcasters for these broadcasts? We hire shoutcasters to amplify the excitement of the game. They elevate the watchability and help the esports viewing experience stay focused and or on the tournament and our amazing players. Yeah, I wonder why you even need to put that in. So why don't you explain why you decided to punish the fucking casters? All these guys were doing. So guys, in case you missed it, Blizzard not only fucked Blitzchung up the ass, took all of his winnings and banned him for a year. And keep in mind, he was anyway. I think he may have quit, but he was a professional Hearthstone player. They basically said, you're going to be unemployed for a year. You can't work anymore. And took all the money he won. Although we're going to get to that later. We're going to get to that. They do mention that. But on top of that, The two guys who were interviewing him, they fucking banned them as well. They pretty much blacklisted them from any future Blizzard events for the high crime of being the ones that happened to be interviewing the guy who said things they don't like. Now, from what I saw, I could be wrong, but from what I saw, they didn't goad him into it. In fact, as soon as he said it, they both put their heads down under their monitors, and I guess kind of hoping to, oh shit, I hope nobody associates us with this. And they still fired him. Jeez, Blizzard, you're not going to get any fucking sympathy from us. Yeah, I mean, you may have to reach pretty far, but maybe you could make the case that, oh, Blitzchung broke the rules, and we're going to punish him for it. Okay. But what about those fucking casters? What rules did those casters break? What did they do? All they were doing was interviewing the guy as he said something that offended you. And for that high crime, they're never going to be allowed to work with you again. Seriously, go fuck yourselves, Blizzard. Yeah. Third, were our actions based on the content of the message? This Blizzard's message, the most important part of it is think globally. So yes, given that they have to sink to the lowest common denominator of censorship and human rights, they were definitely thinking globally when they did this. I will actually give them credit for this. Part of thinking globally, leading responsibly, and every voice matters is recognizing that sometimes people will disagree with us and they have to be excluded from our inclusive community. Oh, and also that we have players and fans from almost every country in the world, which is why we have to sink to the lowest common denominator when it comes to censorship and human rights. Our goal is to help players connect in areas of commonality, hence why we have to sink to the lowest common denominator, like their passion for our games, and create a sense of shared community. Yeah, this is how you build a healthy, robust community, isn't it, guys? This is how you have a healthy, robust community. You get them together and say, you guys aren't allowed to talk about anything, because the second you actually express yourselves, we're going to ban you. But other than that, you could do whatever you want. Yeah. How fucking healthy of a community you think that's going to be? The specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. I want to be clear. Our relationships in China had no influence on our decision. I think your Chinese social media post says otherwise, you fucking liars. Do you really think we're stupid enough to believe this shit? That was a rhetorical question. I know damn well that they think we're stupid enough to fall for this. They honestly believe we are. These fucking idiots. We have these rules to keep the focus on the game and on the tournament to the benefit of a global audience. Again, this is how you spot someone you can't trust, because as I've said about 1 billion times, just in this one rant, global audience just translates to we need to sink to the lowest common denominator of censorship and human rights. And that was the only consideration in the actions we took. Yeah, it was totally not because China threatened you. Yeah, and as others have pointed out as well, China's a really weird market. Blizzard, as a Western company, they can't do business in China. They can't just go into China and start selling shit. They have to go through a Chinese company, and these Chinese companies can't do business in China without approval from the Chinese government. So for Blizzard to do any business in China, they basically have to have the stamp of approval from the Chinese government. So if the Chinese government comes up and says, hey, Blizzard, you either do something about this or you're not going to have access to our almost 2 billion potential customers. Yeah, Blizzard's going to be like, let me bend over so you can insert your penis, sir. That's pretty much what Blizzard is right now. If this had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same. That bullshit. Nobody believes this. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Remember, May stands with Hong Kong. Yeah, they even turned May into a pro-Hong Kong meme. So yeah, turn Overwatch into a pro Hong Kong meme. If we could get Blizzard banned from China for anyway, despite all of the dick sucking they're doing, oh, that would just be hilarious. Oh man, I gotta take a drink. Shit, this rant. Okay, what could Blizzard have done better, and where do we go from here? Oh, you're gonna be going straight into the dumpster fires, or you're gonna be going. Over the past few days, many players, casters, esports fans, and employees have expressed concerns about how we determined the penalties. We've had a chance to pause, listen to our community, and reflect on what we could have done better. In hindsight, our process wasn't adequate, and we reacted too quickly. Wow, this is the first time they actually said something true in this whole article. Something that actually made sense. Okay. We want to ensure that we maintain a safe and inclusive environment for all of our players, except for those that we don't like, that we disagree with. They are excluded from our inclusive community. Only those who think exactly like us are allowed in our inclusive community. Yeah, you guys noticing a pattern with that yet? Yeah, and and that our rules and processes are clear. Yeah, we already know. The paperwork these guys sign basically translates to Blizzard can do whatever the hell they want when they want. All of this is in service of another important Blizzard value: play nice, play fair. Yeah, it's a good job doing that yourselves, Blizzard. In the tournament itself, Blitzchung played fair. We now believe he should receive his prizing. We understand that for some, this is not about the prize, and perhaps for others it is disrespectful to even discuss it, but that is not our intention. Okay, no, I was going to say, let's read this this next paragraph before I say, right. But playing fair also includes appropriate pre- and post-match conduct. No, that has nothing to do with playing fair. Now, the only time unless he was bribing or intimidating opponents while not in a match, maybe you'd have a point, but no. You guys are really reaching up your asses for this one. Especially when a player accepts recognition for winning in a broadcast. When we think about the suspension, 6 months for Blitzchung is more appropriate, after which time he can compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit again if he so chooses. There is a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing a broadcast. Yeah. So, translation. Hey, if we give the guy his money back and reduce his ban from a year to 6 months, we cool, right? We cool? No, Blizzard. You're a bunch of liars. It's so obvious that you just want to suck all of that. I mean, if I go any further, I may even get myself. I'm gonna calm down on that. With regard to the casters, remember their purpose is to keep the event focused on the tournament. That didn't happen here, and we are setting their suspension to 6 months as well. Yeah. So because the casters weren't omnipotent and couldn't control everything Blitzchung said and did, we gotta punish him. Oh yeah, I know, this dude just started talking about Hong Kong in the middle of the interview, so that's proof that the casters suck and they didn't keep the event focused on the tournament. Yeah, Blizzard, if this is the fucking game you want to play, let's take this all the way to the top. It's J. Allen Brack, president of Blizzard. It's his responsibility to make sure all of the employees are always on their best behavior. So anytime any Blizzard employee misbehaves, you need to be held personally responsible. This is the same fucking standard you're holding to these casters. Why don't we hold you to it as well, J. Allen Brack, huh? How would you fucking like it? And because of all of this shit happened under your watch, you should have to fall on the sword for it. You need to give back all the money you ever got from Blizzard and never be allowed to work there again. It's only fair. And if this is the standard you're holding everyone else to, it's only fair. Yeah. Moving forward, we will continue to apply tournament rules to ensure our official broadcasts remain focused on the game and are not a platform for divisive social or political views. So, dude, BlizzCon is coming up. BlizzCon is going to be hilarious. I'd be one to bet people are going to be showing up with free Hong Kong shirts, wearing Winnie the Pooh costumes. Oh, this is gonna be fucking hilarious. Oh man, one of our goals at Blizzard is to make sure every player everywhere in the world, regardless of political views, religious beliefs, race, gender, or any other consideration, always feels safe and welcome both in competing in and playing our games. Unless we ban them for 1,000 years. You know they've been doing that on their forums, right? They've been banning people on their forums for 1,000 years for daring question them on this. So, every player everywhere in the world is welcome, except for the ones who disagree with us. In which case, we're going to ban you. You're excluded from our inclusive community. Yeah, that's how it always works. Every time. Now, Blizzard, we are always listening and finding ways to improve, which is why you've been on the decline for at least a decade now. It makes total sense. It is part of our culture. It was. Not anymore. Thank you for your patience with us as we continue to learn. No. Oh, man, you're going to be learning very well here soon. Oh, man. And this is what's so fucking sad. You pay for the game, and they can stop you from being able to play it. I mean, it's even worse in the case of Blitzchung, because this was his job. This is what he did for a living. And they basically said, you can't work for another year, and we're taking all your money. Although they did since say, okay, we'll give you the money and we'll drop it to 6 months. But I've heard rumors, again, this unsubstantiated, this part here, but I heard he already pretty much just gave up on Hearthstone. He's going to move on to something else. So none of this really matters. I mean, he's getting the money, so that's good. But the whole ban, don't care anymore. But imagine if every other, God, you want to compare esports to physical sports? Imagine if an NBA player did something the NBA didn't like, they could stop him from playing basketball again. Now, how fucking ridiculous would that be? I mean, yeah, maybe you could ban him from the team, maybe you could ban him from your platform, but there's other platforms you could play basketball on. Where else is this guy going to play Hearthstone? Where else is he going to play if he gets banned? But then again, was he only banned from tournaments, or did they completely shut his account down for a year? That's another thing. But yeah, this is great, man. Blizzard they've just gone from bad to worse. People were already pissed. And now, dude, this is the type of response that's probably going to piss China off too. I can almost guarantee you China's not going to like this either, especially when they see the ratio. Oh, God, no, let's pull that up. Yeah, let's pull up the ratio they're getting, because this is just absolutely hilarious. Okay, just going to move it along here, and all right. At the time of this recording, Blizzard's announcement of this comment has 1.4 thousand likes, 590 retweets, 2.8 thousand comments. Most of them are not positive, let's just say. Blizzard, you done fucked up, and I'm just going to keep pointing and laughing. Although I used to be sad at things like this, because Blizzard used to be my favorite developer. It's because of Blizzard in particular I'm so into PC gaming. If it wasn't for Warcraft 2 and Diablo 2, I don't know if that would have happened, honestly. I may have been a console peasant if it wasn't for Blizzard. But the Blizzard of current year is not the great Blizzard of over a decade ago. The last time I saw any true passion from Blizzard was StarCraft 2. Yeah, that's it. I was done with Blizzard after StarCraft 2. I finished Legacy of the Void, got the ending I've been waiting for over a decade to that storyline, and I was done. Diablo 3 was announced as always online, real money auction house. Yeah, they used the real money auction house to rationalize the game being always online. And then when they removed the real money auction house, they of course kept the always online part. Because of course. So I just kind of dropped out of that, never cared about Overwatch, Hearthstone, none of that crap. So, yeah, it's I'm not losing anything. In fact, I'm just gaining. I love seeing this happen. I love seeing these global standards types suffer under the weight of global standards once they realize that they aren't the ones that get to set what the global standards are. So, yeah, final thing I have to say on this is, don't you wish you would have actually fought back when the anime titties were being attacked now? We could have nipped problems like this in the bud, but, yeah, you guys had better ideas. So, again, have fun lying in the bed you made for yourselves. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. There you go.